මීළඟට කිහිල්ලේ බෝතලේ තබා කුක්කු පෙවීමේ මහා තරගය.
Welcome everyone to this second round game of the PlayMO Awurudu tournament. We have some very experienced teams in today's game. I think this is going to be one of the closest games we are going to see in this tournament so far. What do you think about the teams we have so far?
Should be interesting. Obviously, he's a big character in the Sri Lanka Dota scene. It's very interesting to see if he is drafting, what kind of draft they go for with these Beastmaster to prioritize. There's been a lot of noise around Hero as well. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting game.
I think the first two bans are going to be a huge decider for both of these teams because we know that they have players who play these OP heroes. Let's get into the draft.
I think Beastmaster will be a first phase ban.
I think so. Definitely they're going to ban Beastmaster. I think we might see the puck get banned. And I think these players have also a lot of experience playing against each other. Scrims and whatnot, previous tournaments, a lot of history going back as well. A lot of people are probably expecting that sentence to pull ahead in this one, but I think Aathal Gaming may actually be stronger on paper.
Okay, so Timbersaw first phase ban.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's because they know someone on the other team in Aathal who maybe is good on that hero.
Most probably.
And I think Timbersaw also really hampers the safe lane farmer. So it's going to be easy. Okay, Juggernaut ban.
These teams probably know each other pretty well, so they know which heroes are the comfort picks. They're probably prioritizing those as bans.
And maybe the Timber ban means that they're going for strength cores. Sherry, what do you think? Probably.
I think picking these tanky cores has been the defining characteristic of this patch. So Timber ban isn't too surprising.
The Dire get a ban.
Okay, they go for a Pango as well.
Completely off base with regard
exactly.
to
So far we've been totally off base.
Completely off base. But I'm just trying to. Okay, so the Timber may be okay. You've seen a lot of heroes being picked, a lot of strength cores, but then the Pango pick. And I wonder if maybe they have a plan. Maybe there's certain heroes they're trying to avoid the Tango from facing against the Tango rather.
So far, what I see is they banned off two offlaners. So both these offlaners really affect the farm of the safe laner. So probably that's the reasoning. Okay, there's a partner ban from.
Yeah, that's another ban as well. I mean,
letting the BM through.
Interestingly, it is not picked up in the first phase. Instead, it is Snapfire.
Little interrupt, guys. Hello.
Yes.
Ghosty. Switch into the game stream.
Seconds.
That OBS studio.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
It's okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, Aathal really thinking about they have two picks here. So think about the first one. So maybe they were not expecting the Snapfire. Maybe they wanted to pick it. Seems like they've been caught off guard.
Yeah, and the thing with the Snapfire is it can be played in all in three roles, right? You can go mid, off lane, or support. Usually we don't see it mid that much, I would say, in this patch at least. So I think it'll go off lane or fourth position. Okay, so Lion's first phase, that was also one of the main supports that were picked up. So we'll see what they pair with the Lion.
Makes sense, and I think the Lion pick may be to try and dissuade Descendants from going with the puck. Because Lion can be a very frustrating support to play into as the puck.
Yeah, I think most of these mid laners are quite experienced on the puck. You can make so many plays. So, although it has been falling out of favor in the recent patch.
See, Lion does not close the gap well with Snapfire, at least until he has the blink. So that might be a concern Aathal still have. So maybe they'll look to get something that can cancel that ultimate coming out from Snapfire, maybe even a Nyx, you never know. Clock, yep,
Okay,
there
so
you go.
That's the gap. And I think they'll maybe look for the Void to pair up with the Snapfire. Not sure whether they'll first phase it though, but if they leave it to the second phase, they'll probably have it banned against them. But usually we see this Void Snapfire combo, and since Void is one of the strongest carries in this patch, I think that's something we might see.
Sense. Yeah, so maybe they don't pick the Void now, and maybe they plan for something like a Mars or something else as well that can pair up well with the Snap. Oh, they go for a Pia.
Okay. So we've been seeing the Pia picked up, and it's the Aetherland's Octarine build, I think, that is more popular now as opposed to the Manta Heart build that was in the last patch. So I don't know. We'll see whether they decide to go with the traditional PL or go
The
with
shard
this,
was
paper.
quite a strong buff. So
Yes. So
the spirit
because of the
lance
shard,
not
they pick
possible.
up Ethelens and then go
Yeah.
Octarian.
And Aathal does ban out that Mars now that the core position has been secured by the PL. I think Mars is a good ban considering that would be in a good pair with the Snap.
An Alchemist ban. That's a bit surprising. I guess these players know each other quite well. We haven't seen Alchemist in this patch that much, although
maybe does Alki come online faster than the PL maybe, and they're concerned that could be an issue.
Possibly, but I think that I don't know.
Might be because of the AoE factor. Both BB and Alk delete the illusions pretty quickly. Okay, so you see the BM being banned in the second phase, though it was not picked.
Finally the BM does get banned. I'm actually really surprised neither of the teams wanted to go for that hero. So last ban from Aathal Gaming. So far the trend has been to Mars pick because of Snapfire, Beastmaster just because it's been really strong right now. They might prioritize mid now. They haven't really seemed to worry about the mid except for that Pagna ban.
Have to see what Aathal Gaming comes up with in terms of countering the PL.
Sven's still in the pool as well. I think how well Sven does against the Octarine build because the PL really just does kite a lot. He's mostly just throwing spears at you.
Yeah, since PL has evolved past that what do you call frontliner, I think Sven is not a very good pick against PL because the Axe on Sven is no longer that good, and they don't really rush it. So there's no way for the Sven to gap close.
The kite potential of PL has increased with the Octarine build.
Yeah.
So Gaming taking their time with the ban.
They're really thinking about this one.
Yeah.
So while the players take their time drafting, so why don't we remind our viewers about the sponsors we have for this tournament? Rafael, you
sure, of course. So of course this tournament won't be possible without mycity.lk, Bitcoin and crypto locally. It's only thanks to them that this tournament is happening. And I think the prize pool as well has given an incentive to a lot of these good teams to actually join and participate. So we have this matchup now, Death Sentence versus Aathal Gaming. But at the same time, I think we've got they've named themselves not the Sri Lankan team, but as we've seen them play already, that is pretty much most of the players from that team. And then there's another team, Solana Esports, as well, which has quite a few players as well. So we should see some interesting matchups, and it wouldn't be possible if not for our sponsors.
Yeah, the games are really starting to heat up now since we're progressing through the bracket, and we are going to see some really good Dota. So the Underlord, I think that's a very good hero against the PL. I wouldn't say it shuts the PL down, but it sort of controls the hero. So we'll see what happens.
Right, and that's something we actually couldn't talk about. The Underlord was in the draft, and that's a pretty good pick. Again, that too is a good pick versus Puck, so I don't think the Puck's going to come out at all. And if they manage to play around the pit, then, Underlord's probably going to go ATOS at some point, and that's going to make it really difficult for the PL to man fight at least.
Very smart pick in the Underlord, yes. So do you think they'll go for Pos 4 next, or
What are they missing?
we still don't know what position Snapfire is playing in. So yeah.
Yeah, Snapfire is probably offlane or Pos 4.
I'm thinking it's 4. The other hero that's been really strong this patch is Grimstroke, and neither team seems to be considering. I think Aathal can't go for that now that they have the Lion. I don't think Lion's going to be played mid. It's a Sand King.
For the, I'm guessing that's a mid Sand King.
PL as well. I mean, it's a block.
Could be offlane as well.
Yes.
We have seen Miracle playing Sand King Nick, and I think that was where the hero came into the spotlight. After that
We've been seeing a lot of Sand King mid in pubs as well, thanks to Miracle.
Guys, anyone check
now with that
comments?
I think Ghost is saying something.
Sorry.
Anyone check the live comments? The bunch of friends of yours, them, I think.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Who are these people?
No!
I'm guessing YouTube.
Where's the live stream?
Let me pull that up and have a look.
I'm guessing they're saying 2 minutes behind. So
Okay, so the less track. I think
they're trying to counter PL pretty hard, but I guess Lesh was a good pick, unless the Diffusal Phantom Lancer starts to hurt him quite a bit. What do you think, Nath?
I don't think the less track would really do that. Okay, Clinks.
Okay.
So that's a mid Clinks versus less track?
Probably yes. So the Sand King would be offlane.
Oh, they've picked up a Clinks. Okay, so I'm back.
They picked the Clinks.
That's a mid Clinks, right? And they picked a Lesh as well. So yeah, looking at both sides have a lot of magical damage coming out, but now Death Sentence have managed to pair that up with the Clinks as well. So now there's a good dose of physical damage coming out as well. So that's going to challenge Aathal on their defensive item builds to try and cope with that.
What do you think is the rationale behind the Clinks? I mean,
I think it's one of Tenza's really strong heroes. I think that's the reason.
Right.
He spams it a lot, so that's probably why they're picking it, because he's really strong on that hero.
Right.
We've seen it in past tournaments as well. He plays it really well, and he has this ability to take over games once Clinks gets to a certain point. And yeah, contrary to what we were saying, we were saying that the Aathal Gaming has a lot of puck counters, but they've chosen to ban it anyway late in the draft or the ban phase. Odd as well, because they did pick up the Clinks already. So maybe that's a support.
Yeah, are they expecting a support Clinks?
Yeah, I think they were expecting a puck support puck.
A puck support, okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That would make sense, because if it's a support puck, it's still annoying. I mean,
PL can't,
you do deal with it.
Yeah, PL can't doppelgang out of it.
True.
Yeah, so that would have been a nice pick.
The Lion doesn't want to commit his disables onto the puck if it's not a core, right? He wants to prioritize that on the Clinks or maybe even the Sand King before he gets his ultimate off, or depending on the situation.
So you might be seeing offlaner or the 4. Yeah, the 4 Earth Spirit.
Okay, so I think that's AB's Earth Spirit.
Is that I'm not sure what.
Is AB playing mid?
That's the thing. I'm not sure what position he's playing.
AB played mid last game. Mid Ancient Apparitions.
He played mid A, right?
Yeah. Played mid A last game.
So maybe 10's on the PL.
So the Persian 1 pick left for Aathal Gaming.
Yes, that's right.
We might be seeing. Yeah. Oh, okay. A Bloodseeker. Really focusing on the AOEs this game, Aathal Gaming.
Yes, that's a decent counter to the PL as well. Is that a fair?
Yeah,
statement?
So that is AB playing the Earth Spirits. That is what I expected. Okay. Maybe in their first game they just wanted to mess around, put in the AA mid,
throw off their opponents, and maybe that's why the Spirit actually went through the draft. Who knows?
Because he really does a lot with that hero.
So let's see. Looking at it at this point, how do you guys feel? Which team is looking?
I really
like,
haven't seen. I really haven't seen a lot of Clinks, so I'd be interested in seeing how Clinks makes an impact this game.
It's true. I haven't seen it in a lot of pubs either. I don't think was it picked in any of the programs. I know there are a lot of major qualifiers.
I've been following the China scene mostly, about the Chinese scene, so I haven't seen a lot of Clinks there.
It doesn't really fix their usual their usual game style of gameplay.
Yeah.
Even in EU, I haven't seen a lot of Clinks picks unless I missed it.
Prepare to make way. Who made you captain? It's pronounced admiral.
Okay, so Rafa, do you want to tell our viewers the heroes that each player will be playing? Do you want to start off with that?
I'm not very familiar with all of them. Smoke is playing the Clockwork, that'll be 4th position. Then we've got Sai Kongru on the Lion for Dire. Nali playing the Bloodseeker, Nightblade on the Underlord, and DBB on the Leshrak, who will be going mid.
Okay, and on the Radiant side, we have Tenza Zengetsu on the Clinks, Hoarder on the Snapfire, Subs playing the Sand King, and AB on
I had
the
time to
Earth
find a
Spirit.
snack.
Does seem Klinks is one of
Oh yeah, I forgot
the.
PL playing play by Falini.
I think Klinks is one of TZ's most played heroes. Seeing that he's master tier on the hero as
Yeah,
well.
he's master tier on the hero.
He
That's
is
the level
master tier,
3
so
classic Clinks.
probably would
Well,
have.
how can we expect to see these lanes? Is it just going to be the traditional 2-1-2? Trainer going bot, fourth position
30
behind him.
seconds to battle.
Expect out
That
of the
has been the
ordinary.
common trend, right? I mean, I don't think teams really try line in this meta.
Doesn't
But we
look like we
can.
do have 3 Radiant heroes bunching up that triangle, maybe probably just to secure the runes.
Okay, so looks like both teams have just split the map, take 2 runes each.
Now we
No mid
get
ward
the
dropped as of
good
yet by the
stuff.
deity.
For once,
Just one on the
we're in
click.
agreement.
Klings already has a sentry ready.
None dropped. Okay.
Ash has Sentry. Okay, so he's not dropping an observer in the mid lane. That's a bit different. Usually you expect to see an observer there so that you have vision on the enemy high ground.
So Follini was forced into leveling up the doppelganger. So I think that will be an issue with regard to trying to last it. Usually you get the spear first so that you can secure the last hit on the range creep.
Throw a
Especially
line
with
to
these two
Radiant's
aggressive
middle
melee
tower.
laners,
It's
might be a problem.
sinking, just like your shit.
True, and I don't think he can cast Doppel when he's rooted, right? That's tricky to
No,
play
you
around.
can't. Yeah.
Leshrak does have a sentry down mid, but I'm not sure if that's within range of the observer ward by Klinks. I think it's just shy of the vision.
I think it is. I'm not sure we can see that.
It's
Oh, it's
unfortunate.
just on the edge actually.
Exactly, so it's unfortunate.
Actually, with the mid matchup, who wins? Klinks versus the Leshrak.
So far, Leshrak seems to be doing better with 8 last hits and Klinks only with 5.
When you have 2 denies to the 1.
Bit too
I
early
think Lesh
to
has the
say.
benefit of having more spells that he can cast. Klinks does have searing arrows, but then he doesn't have the HP to be able to handle this harass coming out from Lesh. So I think we can expect to see the Leshrak pulling ahead at least slightly.
Yeah, I think the X factor though will be AB rotating into mid. So I think the side lanes will be on watch out. Like they'll let the mid know if AB leaves the lane.
Good point. The other thing is Lesh will also be rushing a bottle. He already has money for it, so it's already on its way on the courier. And with the new rune changes, he's gonna have a lot of sustain in this
The
lane.
water runes have spawned, and Tenza has the lane in a very good position.
Right? He may actually be able to get both. Doesn't seem. Yeah, he's going for
You can
one.
see Earth Spirit is rotating
Radiant's
mid,
courier has
probably
been
going for
killed.
the rune.
Swallowed
and
up
he
by a
may even-
fish.
And
Yep.
there we go.
And
That's
then
the
by me.
Earth
Very
Spirit
well
coming
played
in.
by AB.
King at the Radiant bot lane. Okay.
Yes, bot meanwhile, PL's being gone on.
Underlord
bit of
actually
harass.
having 2 CS more than the PL, so that's a really great lane as an offlaner if you're doing better than the enemy safe lane. And actually, PL's running low here, but Doppelganger is cooldown. They do see him, I think, because of the. No, they don't. They do see him now, though. Should be a dead deal. Just gets
Nice
up,
cookie.
With a very, very good cookie.
has a
think he's
boot
still-
though, and yeah, he may still be dead
Yeah.
because. Oh, okay, smart TP.
Smart TP out of the lane.
Even if he didn't die, he just TP back to base, and that's 2-3 waves.
Still a win. That's still a win for Dire. Lesh finally getting a rune for himself.
Going for that bounty rune spawning now at 3 minutes. Klinks has caught up though. He's only 3 CS behind now. They're pretty much neck and neck with the last denies rather as well. Looking at both teams, what's their times? Oh, we actually miss first blood down, but it's the Underlord that goes down.
Always was a quick draw.
2 tips coming out as well.
Quirk rotating mid, filling the bottle for. Top, we see Lion being gone on, as well as Bloodseeker. Might end up
This gets out, yeah.
unsafe. Yes. SK still chasing.
I think SK get ahead could be scary because he can really ramp up his farm really quickly.
Pretty interesting to see the aggressive play style by its sentence.
Said the Bloodseeker is now way ahead in last years in comparison to the PL. PL had to walk back to base after tipping, and he's still sitting at only 11 CS. I think when we spoke about his CS a year ago, he was at 10 as well, so not much has changed. Going to be a concern for them. Let's see if they try to do something about that. We might see AB rotating bottom just to secure a couple of more kills, or maybe even force a rotation mid so that that'll force the Clockwork out of the lane at the bottom.
Yeah, I
It's
think that's
interesting.
the safest play.
Yeah,
Trying to
it's
get
interesting. I would have
the
thought.
score.
Sorry, I would have
Yeah, go
thought Unlord would go for the aura, but he hasn't gone for any point in the aura, just
I
for
think
damage.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
because they've been playing very aggressively.
Exactly.
The
So
aura-
okay, smoke goes down.
Would that I could.
Smoke goes down, and you do see AB did rotate bot to try and prove that laner how it's going. But we do see Lesh. He's thinking about it. He decides against it. Radiant do have a ward there anyway, so they would have seen that rotation coming, and that gives a little bit space to Clinks.
Dyer's middle
Just gonna get a bit of
tower is
harass on
Bring
the
in
tower.
with
He
the
does have
the catapult.
with the catapult as well. And another kill on top. This time the Sanking goes down. Okay, and yeah, that's because the Earth Spirit rotated out. They were able to go on the Sanking. Do they have a sentry? They don't. Okay, maybe he got too aggressive then. Oh, let's
Lesh
manage to
finally
get the
gets- yeah.
Arcane Rune, and that might be a dead Clinks. Level 6 on the Lesh. He
Is
does
a
dodge the Boulder Smash.
Clinks, if I've seen one. Okay, Bloodseeker rotating mid as well. There might be
Yeah,
that's surprising to see.
that may have been a
I'll take your trip.
preemptive TP support, just expecting DS to bring more heroes there to try and save the Clinks, but then
What's this? Dire
they didn't do that.
fortified-
Now it looks bad.
They can
Yeah,
pressure the
exactly.
tower. though.
Fortified their structures.
Lesh
Lesh
does
gets,
have
2 points.
points in Edict. Yeah.
Three, yeah.
Points in Edict, yeah, so he's focusing on pushing towers rather than just going after heroes. Ali walking back top.
I think that
Since
reflects. Yeah, go
PL
ahead.
has a bit of space bot. The Clockwork
Did have a lot
rotating
of
out
move
the
speed,
lane.
so he made it in quick time back top, so it wasn't that much of a loss for him.
Clinks the PL rather has been able to catch up a bit. Underlord's still ahead. And looking at the draft and, Leshak going for 3 points in Edict by level 7, I think that's a reflection of the fact that they need to play at a faster pace probably than what Death Sentence will be playing this game. Considering that I don't think they have a lot. Aathal Gaming has a lot to deal with the late game PL.
Yeah, even
There'll
if
be-
the Bloodseeker goes the Maelstrom build, which I am not sure he will, I don't think he can take the PL late game.
It's
They do have the
unlikely.
Lesh track though.
Yeah, they do have the Leshak, and that's what I was thinking of as well. But then, once PL gets a hard, he'll probably go Hood as well this game because of the magic damage coming out. Still going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be easy to bring the PL down. And then, of course, there's the Clinks as well, who becomes the late game monster himself.
It'll be an interesting matchup because you see the first phase pick of PL, and then Aathal Gaming totally focusing trying to counter the PL as well. It would be interesting to see how they itemize as well.
That's true. The Bloodseeker serves as a counter to the Clinks as well. Because Clinks likes to get in and out of fights, but then if he's ruptured, he's not going to be able to do that. Let's see
Get the
how
vision as well.
Yeah, the vision as well. Okay, so they're going on the Sanking up top.
They're going
He
on the
does
Sanking.
have 3 points in the Sandstorm. Does Burrow strike out? But no, I think he's just going to die here. Yeah, no, there's
He's
no
dead.
escaping. He's dead.
Leshrac rotated bot. I think they're going for the bot tower because they know the PL is weak. Nice doppel out, but gets caught in the cogs.
Thank you.
He's out, and they probably see the Earth Spirit here now, and that might display. Nope, Lesh is hanging around. I don't think they know the Lesh is here.
Canceling PL's salve with.
I saw AB was pinging out, so I think they know something's up. And now Lesh does decide to go away, but then he leaves while under
pressure.
and obs and walks right past the Klinks. Okay.
You are most
And in the meantime, they pick off the Underlord.
a tithe to the impurities.
And rotating mid to sap off some XP.
So
Yeah.
looking at last hit,
PL,
so
PL is going hood as a very going on hood very early on.
generally you see that happen on PLs, and there's a lot of magic damage coming out on the other side. He's gone the treads, and yeah, next item should be a hood to mitigate that damage coming out from the Lesh. There's bursts coming out from the land, and even Underlord does a decent amount of magic damage. So that makes sense.
It'll be interesting to see whether he gets the full hood first or whether he gets maybe the cloak, the naked cloak, and then goes for something like Yasha or something to boost up his farm because he really needs to catch up. And a hood is not going to let him do that.
True, and yeah, speaking of catching up, Leshrac is in the lead in terms of last hits, 79. Klinks is 10 behind that, followed by the Bloodseeker. In terms of net worth, there's a slight lead for but then it's too late for that to really mean anything. Too early, rather.
Yeah.
PL really has to catch up though.
I'm surprised that Lesh hasn't done so much damage to the middle tower, though. I think Klinks has done a really good job keeping the Lesh away from the tower. All three
That's
towers.
true.
Was very aggressive.
Didn't really see a lot of Earth Spirit rotations mid either. We're at the 11-minute mark now. I think they've been more concerned by that bottom lane. They have got 2 pickoffs on the Underlord.
Dire smoking on
but at
the
the
high
same
ground looking
time-
for a pick off.
Okay, yeah.
They do have vision of the Klinks because they have a few depods here on the Radiant side.
It's just does Lion have his Lion does have his ulti, so that's probably the timing they're working on. They do see the PL as well, and they're waiting for the
Just
Lion to
smoked up.
move in. See, will he start with the Hex? Okay. Yes, no. Just misses it. Okay, so that's a dead PL.
Okay. Lion had
Not
ulti.
committing a finger. Yep,
Right.
they're not committing the finger. Okay.
Klinks waiting here. Okay.
That's probably a dead
dead.
Klinks though.
Lion
Lion does
getting the
get the
finger
ulti
off
off.
before he just died. Very smart play by Lion there.
Just managed to get the finger off, and that makes a world of a difference. They wouldn't have been able to take the Klinks down otherwise. So that said,
4-2.
Although
Yes,
I
they
think
lose
that
4
was a better
heroes.
fight for Radiant than the lost 4
I
heroes.
think it was the sanking damage.
Yeah, the Sand King.
He got the epicenter out, and they were fighting under a level 4 sandstorm, so a lot of damage taken then. They don't have any magic resist. Yeah, Underlord's going for Atos first. Meantime, has PL managed to make... Yeah, so he is going for the hood.
I think
Stop.
that sentence is quite confident that they'll be able to hold off the game. Klinks might be dying in the
Gaming
middle.
going up,
though.
yes, Klinks.
That is a dead
Klinks
Klinks.
side. That was the use reveal on the... they do tip him on
okay.
4 of them.
Snap showing, just passively showing herself mid to end up dying.
Yeah, I think there was another reaction to try and give the Klinks, but then the save your teammate syndrome kicks in, and then you end up dying as well. So yeah, this is probably going to be a mid tower. We do see Sanking keeping in them, but that's going to be scouted out by the clock, and he does cancel his in response to that.
Dire backs off, though. I think they're coming in with the next wave.
I think they're respecting the respawn timer of the Klinks.
And the Sand King is making his way mid as well. They don't have what to scout it out.
Seeker
AB
teleporting
commits,
mid as well.
gets
So
hexed immediately,
the five
and
manning
yeah,
mid.
that's probably a dead Earth Spirit.
Sand King with a nice initiation.
Sand King with a very nice.
Yeah, and that
Mortimer's
blows up
finishing
the
off.
But clock solos, but so stuck in the cogs and with the battery assault had no way of getting out.
Okay, so the PL has joined the fight, going after the Underlord, and
Double kill.
Wild engagement there in the end. It's a 2 for 3. Again in favor of the Radiant side.
SK has blink, so he did
And I think
initiate pretty well.
Aya needs to anticipate that maybe and try to 2 fights now in a row. I don't think they've accounted for the damage coming out from the Sand King, and it's cost them both of those fights.
yeah, and that's why we see the Leshrac now rushing a BKB next. So he's
Do you
going
think
both the
Underlord
towers
should have
first.
gone pipe or some sort of magic resistance item before Atos, or why do you think he went Atos?
I mean, earlier Atos on Underlord is quite strong, but I think they need the pipe this game. But he's almost done with the Atos.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up. I think as an Underlord player, Atos is a big power spike because that enables the route to just last so much longer. Combining that with your second, but at the same time,
they did underestimate the Sand King DPS.
And I think what you see most Underlords go is they go to a mech and then build that into a Greaves, a pipe around that. So yeah, I guess they're wanting to play aggressive, and maybe the Atos is to that theme to try and continue aggressive, try to get objectives. That said, they are yet to get a tower 50 minutes in with a Leshrac that maxed Edict.
Yeah,
Radiant
so
smoke
Radiant
mid.
is smoke behind the tower. They go on in on the Leshrac. Leshrac, I think, is going to be dead. That is it.
That was a good play by AB there. He silenced the
Just
lion.
surviving.
Leshrac survives.
Lesh gets out.
Thanks
I think
to
the infused
Eels.
raindrops also played a part.
Yes, the Eels and the raindrops.
That now gives Daya the best opportunity to take this mid tower because Sand King's... Oh, Epi isn't down. They didn't commit Epi. Okay, so they have Epi. And they might be taken by surprise here. No. Radiant
He
is
does
getting out
have
from the tower.
Orchid, so might be seen going towards the backlines.
Oh yeah,
Daya
Clint
is
does have that
sticking.
Orchid now.
Yeah. Is sticking as a fire.
And he has Bloodthorn queued up. I'm a bit surprised considering that he has already died a few times. I thought he would go to
very
BKB.
interesting. Surprising you don't see... I don't think I've ever seen someone rushing Bloodthorn first item. Brown Boots Bloodthorn. It's... yes,
Pretty sure he has
he's
something in
expecting-
mind.
He's probably expecting to be able to just be on the outskirts of these fights and just pick off heroes outside of them. It's a risky play, but then if anyone can put it off, Tenza is someone who is able to do that.
Yeah, I don't think Tensa has ever played safe, so to speak.
He has been an aggressive player. That said, Daya are getting the bottom tower now as well, so they are
Radiant
now
trade-off
starting to
towers?
make some progress in terms of their... I don't know if you want to call it tower push, but having that Leshrac.
Well, done with the Atos, are going for a mech, a Greaves next. Still no
They're
pipe
still not
inside.
going.
It's for pipe. I think it might be a bit late, but nevertheless, Greaves is also a good item, I guess.
Yeah,
And in
thing
terms
with
of items,
pipe
we
is-
see...
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
go
yeah.
ahead.
Solar
what I was
Crest. So we see Snapfire has actually already got the Solar Crest picked up, whereas Aside has not. No one seems to be prioritizing Solar Crest, and that's been one of the stronger items of the new patch.
Solar Crest would also help against the Clinks, right? So I actually expected a Solar Crest to be built at least by the Clockwork.
So that is.
But he seems
a
to
little
be
surprising.
going for a medallion, so I think we'd eventually see that being built into a Solar Crest.
So as expected, the Bloodseeker has built the Maelstrom and now he's going into BKB. I think Dai needs to get the BKBs on their cores so that they can take fights and end this game before Radiant comes online.
We see them rotating top now to get that last T1 tower. At the same time, Radiant has 4 heroes around mid. TL still hasn't caught up. He's behind the Underlord in terms of net worth. And like you said, I think that's the detriment of having gone Hood. Maybe having gone Hood, he should have more involved in some engagements.
Dire structures
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point in building hood if you're just going to continue farming, right?
Okay, so Underlord
maybe-
is rifting out. He's there going to defend bot.
under attack.
I don't think they'll be able to
Cancels
catch
it.
anyone though. They cancels it.
Yeah. He cancels it. I think he cast it too early. The plan was to try and get the top T1 and then at the same time. Oh, there's an engagement breaking out. Sankey has actually.
Has fallen.
Seeing a lot of TPs coming down bot.
So I think
That's actually
yeah,
very well.
Sankey.
Yeah, it was very well played by Clockwork, keeping his cool.
See nature's blasted core.
And the Leshak does manage to catch out the Earth Spirit as well, saving that use for a potential TP out. Tenza trying to sneak mid tower, but no, the line is there. Is there backup? Might be, yeah, Lesh is moving in. The use, yeah, that's probably a dead Clinks. Gets ultied as well, fingered. Is that a dead Sapphire as well? Yep.
There's
Like
a high
it,
chance this Snapfire is dead. Yes.
He's dead. They didn't even commit Rupture for that. So now, the itemization, I think PL having that hood should probably be trying to get more involved. That said, I'm not sure if Radiant continue to stick as a 5-man. It's pretty tough for them to get in.
And as you were saying, the links with the rush. Okay, he's going BKB now. So he decides not to go Bloodthorn. Realizes that he does need that BKB.
Radiant's bottom tower faces
Makes sense. I think he has taken a fair chunk of deaths at this point already, and what that has allowed Dire to do is now take a T2 as well at 20 minutes, and that'll allow them to pick the shrine as well, outpost rather.
The tower just melted.
And Clock does get the medallion. Okay, so he'll probably go from a medallion into the Solar Crest. And Underlord has picked up that mech already and is about 1k shy of that Grieve. So it's going to be even harder to teamfight into this Dire lineup. We were actually talking about a pipe on the Dire side. Does the Radiant have anything to combat the magic damage? Not really.
Not really. They've both been going very aggressive items. Radiant seems to be losing map control pretty fast.
Yeah, and as you can see, all three cores on the Dire side leading in terms of net worth.
I think in terms of cooldowns as well, the Radiant side are somewhat dependent on fighting around Epicenter, which is a fairly long cooldown at 110 seconds, whereas for the Dire team, the longest cooldown. That is 100, but that's on the 5th position line, and they're not going to wait for that. That said, they are engaging now. Klinks gets caught out again, and he's going to probably go down.
killing spree.
And they did start that engagement by going on the line. The line only fell after the Klinks fell, so that's probably not something you want to see as the Radiant side. It's still going on though, a lot of damage coming out
Wow, okay.
from that Earth Spirit ulti, I think, and that allows PL to get a couple of kills. There's
I
a
hope that's
pause,
not
I'm
a toxic
guessing.
pause.
I'm guessing it's a technical pause. Team fight, wipe them rather, and then casual tip to the lion.
Okay, so it was.
Remember that sponsors.
Wow, okay. It was.
So that was a mistaken
Quite
tip.
toxic.
It wasn't intended for the lion.
Okay.
There's the question mark. Oh dear.
It's getting spicy.
Middle tower is
Do you watch a lot of Chinese games? You probably know what that question mark means.
I'm pretty sure he paid for the billboard as well.
just got knocked down.
If you actually watch the Chinese games in the qualifiers, there is no tipping, there is no all chatting. It's just when they meet these EU people who start tipping all the Chinese players that they, fire back.
Middle tower is drowning.
That's anything to go by. It was again the mid player on the Dire side that did start the question mark.
I think mid players tend to be more hot-blooded.
That's true.
What do you think? What do you think went wrong with that fight? I thought as soon as the Klinks fell, I had it in the bag, but they just lost all the heroes.
Yeah, I think
Probably the
it's because they
Magnetite.
went on the Lion. That's their main control. So if you go on the Lion, and also PL had his diffusal in that fight, so the diffusal there's a lot of damage to the die.
Diffuser, and
Since-
again, I think they ate the full epicenter, 3 of the main cores just
Yeah.
below the Rosh pit.
The Sand King has been playing really well. Is that Torch on the Sand King?
Echolocation?
I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, PL wasting no time. He has heart queued, so he won't. I think he's going for
Nice
tankiness.
hook.
And I think
prioritized.
this thing
But
is
the
we have
Sand King has
BKB's up now.
BKB,
Tanking
yeah.
has gone BKB, yeah.
Just stands there and
And that
fights.
forces them to back off. He just stands his ground in the sandstorm. If PL does pick that heart up, it's going to make it really difficult for the Dire to take him down. And he has caught up now. He's fallen now, but he's basically neck and neck with basically all of the other cores. Just, well, 900 below the Seeker, but then he can cover that real quick.
We are yet to see Klinks' impact in this game, but I think after BKB we can see him deleting a few heroes as well.
Leshrac almost
I
has
don't think
his
the
BKB though.
fights.
That allows him to
okay,
just
yeah.
stand in the front lines, doing damage to the PL.
So does the BKB mitigate Klinks' Searing Arrows damage?
It
PS's
doesn't.
Immunity? Yes, it doesn't. Okay. He's not going for the Solar Crest. He's going to go for the Blade Mill before that. I guess that makes sense as well. You can, if you manage to get the Klinks inside the cogs, you can man fight him. Just reflect the damage. The way Blade Mill was changed, so it reflects damage based on armor, right? And will that still do a lot of damage to a Klinks?
It's the same type of damage that's reflected, if I'm not mistaken. So the Klinks, I mean, he only has 15
Edgy
armor.
hero.
Yeah, but he only has 15 armor. If you look at Klinks' agi gain, it's just 2.7. So that's pretty low for agi.
Yeah, that's pretty low, yeah.
Klinks' damage from his
Okay.
searing arrows rather than his stats.
Aya has smoked up and they're moving into the Radiant bottom jungle, but I don't think they're going to find anyone. The Dire have camped the high ground. PL down? No.
And maybe they spotted it out with their ward in the triangle.
Yeah. The ward right there, so that's probably why they're completely avoiding this smoke gang coming out from their side. What I wanted to say earlier was I was surprised Radiant actually wiped the Dire team, but they did not go for Roshan. Probably because the Klinks was down at the time. But usually
the
what you
Klinks,
see from a lot of teams, yeah. Right now, with Radiant dodging that smoke gank, I feel like the game, going the length now that it is, going past 25 minutes, is to the Radiant's liking. They'd like this game to drag out as much as they can, get their PL as farmed up as they possibly can. He's still a ways away from the heart, so it's not all doom and gloom for Dire yet. They're bunching up again. Do they
But
have a smoke?
I think Daya has realized that they need to kill this PL before he gets that heart. So that's why they've tried a smoke gang bot, it failed. So now they're again bunching up as 5. Maybe they push a tower, but the issue there is the counter initiation from the Sand King, from the Snapfire. So they've seen that really affect them. So I think they're trying to look for a pick off.
Yeah, and I think they've decided that they're just going to go for this tower. There's no smoke, nothing like that. They're just going to meet them. That said, they did walk past another Radiant observer, and they know that this is happening, and they are positioning for that in front of the tower. So this might catch the Dire team. As tactical pause as well, this time from the Dire team. Tactical or technical?
Klinks does have his BKB full duration now, so see how that comes into play.
That's true. With that BKB up, I'm not sure whether Radiant Dire rather has the damage to take him out. The only right-click damage coming out is from the Bloodseeker. That said, Edict is physical damage, but then you need to be close to the... and he basically needs to be the only target around to be hit by it. Might be challenging. Decide not to meet them
Both
halfway. I think
teams-
that's the smarter choice. Fight under the tower if
Teams
possible.
just holding on to their nerves, no one initiating a fight, they're just waiting for someone to start it.
Vision, this Radiant... Sorry, the Dire does have an observer up here, so they can see this move. It's at a sentry. That's a sentry. They
It's
don't
a,
have
it's a, it's
vision
a
up here.
sentry, yes. The orbs is from the Radiant.
Radiant's top tower is on the rocks.
Okay, so they are going to start this siege. We see Sankin gets hit by the flare and they know where he is, so they're going to know which side. Okay, he does initiate. They've got the Bloodthorn out on the Bloodseeker, but he gets the BKB off. Ruptures the Earth Spirit, okay. And yeah, so the Klink's popped his BKB and immediately Dire just back out. They do not want to fight in the Klink's BKB, and now that's down, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. Oh, the clock is on the wrong side. Gets left behind by the team. Both fourth positions go down that fight, so I think Dire are backing off. He is scouting to see if anyone's left behind, but that is not the case, so he should just go back to farming.
A tithe to the impurities.
As I said before, it's interesting to see how how Dire plans to play from this point on, because I think it's Radiant's game from now on, right? It would be really interesting to say how.
Leshrac in the middle. Okay, he runs out.
He gets out, yeah. So it's interesting, Klinks was queuing up the Bloodthorn earlier, but now he's gone the BKB and hasn't gone for the Bloodthorn, probably saving that cash for buyback.
Just get an Orb of Destruction, so we might be seeing him going. Okay, he sends it back.
He
Leshrac
finds
is a
the
low.
Leshrac, but then Lesh does have KB as well as use. Is he going to get any support? I think he's calling over the Earth Spirit. But no, decides to not take a risk. Not reveal himself in the lane either, so Dire does not know where Klinks is. So yeah, you see the supports hanging around their cores, just making sure they don't get picked off. Earth Spirit does have a smoke. He might be prepping to go here, but there is a deep Dire ward here, which might scout it out.
Radiant
Doesn't
are
seem
scanning
interested
for
in
enemies.
joining the smoke, though. He does get his Reaver now, though, so that's a big first step towards that heart.
Unlord finally queuing up pipe and is quite away from it as well. Around 1,000 gold shy.
The TP is really expensive. That's probably one of the reasons a lot of offlaners now choose not to go for that pipe, because of the slow build up towards it.
Real nice to see
Looking
some
at the
deep
game
wards
now,
by the Dire.
what do you think the Dire team needs to do to get hold of this game to take the advantage?
I think they realize that they just can't rush towers. They need a pick-off. And Radiant isn't giving them any opportunity to get any of those pick-offs. So it's... I think Dire is going to feel a bit frustrated now. Lesh is
I
building
think it's getting there.
Lesh is building into the Shivas. So the Shivas guard will help with the PL.
Service to imbalance.
So
So they are actually starting to commit. Does Glyph? Yeah, okay, so Radiant does have their Glyph. They're holding on to it. Have brought their heroes back. Things will stop. And nope, fight starting. That's a dead Leshrac. Tries with the Eels, but I don't think he's gonna make it. Nope.
It's a dead
That
Lesh.
should just mean Dire backs off right now, because I don't think, yeah, the clock's on by the PL, absolutely destroyed. They're hunting for more. The technical pause.
Lagging.
No
Like
tips this
just-
time. Okay, there is one again.
Okay.
A random tip on the Lion.
And with that, this is our 13th match from the PlayMO Awurudu Vibes, Deep Death Sentence and Aathal Gaming. Our sponsors was MyCity.lk, Bitcoin and Crypto Locally. They're sponsoring us. This is our 13th match. Yeah, the back to the casting.
Thank you, Ghosty. So we see Klinks disconnecting. At first I thought it was being sarcastic.
No, it's a technical issue, obviously.
I thought he was being really sarcastic with the following up with the tip, and then he disconnects just in case, you know.
No, of course, nothing funny
I think
going on here.
I think the Earth Spirit and the Snapfire along with the
he is back in
SKR.
game.
Okay, so he reconnects.
That's right. In that
The-
fight, I think again the Earth Spirit initiated on
Earth-
the Lesh.
Speed's been doing a lot of having a lot of impact since the start of the game. It would be hard for Dyer to come back into this, seeing how well the Radiant have been playing the game so far. They've kept their
Surprised
calm.
neither team has tried to prioritize Roshan, maybe get that Aegis and then commit towards these fights. I'm guessing for Radiant, maybe they don't need to do that. They just need to farm up and they'll be happy doing that. As for the Dire, probably the SK ulti, the Snapfire ulti is what's dissuading them from doing that.
Well, we can see Klinks reaching top net worth after that fight. He was quite behind at the start, but now okay.
Okay, so now
Okay, Rafael.
Now they're moving.
I think they heard you. So they're going for the rush.
I'm satisfied. Very good. So, I think something that we failed to notice was the supports. Even while Daya were having the lead a few minutes ago, the supports are behind the Radiant support, and that's probably what's making the difference in terms of this. Yeah, looking over at Lion doesn't have his blink yet. So that's a lot of initiation that the Daya team is missing. I know they have clockwork, but that's challenging with PL and all the illusions that he has to actually land a good hook shot.
Yeah, even in the last fight, he just hooked the illusion while the Leshrac was dying.
Is there anything that can counter PL after he gets hot, like say
I mean,
in
it's
any
not
game?
impossible because they do have the Leshrac with the Shiva is almost done. Not almost. I mean, he's quite a ways away from it.
I mean, in a general
2000
sense,
gold.
say any game. There, because I've seen a lot of PL games, and PL seems to be almost unkillable late game. We saw Juggernaut in other pro games. I forget what game it was.
I think that was Nigma versus Liquid.
Yes, probably.
Or Alliance versus Liquid. No, that was Nigma, I think.
It was a Nico Baby Juggernaut.
Okay, another pause. Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
So DS experiencing some lag.
Having
WR.
It's the bane of most SEA players. Bad internet.
I was practicing my backstroke.
Thank God SLT isn't sponsoring us.
To make cheeky statements like that because they aren't.
Yeah, I know.
Lesh has fallen behind actually. Fallen behind the Sand King. He just above him now, and okay, now he's back there. So most of the cores, actually, all of the cores are neck and neck. Except the Underlord is now starting to fall behind a little bit. That generally happens to Underlords. Going to this, he still doesn't have his pipe either. I feel like it's a little too late at this point. Your most concern right now is going to be the damage coming out from the PL. And the Klinks PL, by the way, did not go Octane. We're talking about the Octane build with the other lens.
Yes, I think he went hard mainly because of the Lesh. Just to get a bit more tanky. And the Bloodseeker probably.
Going through, clicking on all these heroes, no one has bought a shard or an eggs, interestingly.
We've been surprised since the drafting phase with the picks and now the builds. I think we predict seems to be happening. Exactly. Sri Lanka seems to have a different sort of meta.
Since I think he's going for Lotus now, that will really hamper the Lion.
And the Bloodseeker, you're going to be a little bit concerned at least on who you're going to throw that rupture at.
Speaking from... Go ahead.
I was just going to comment on the fact that the difficulty in predicting the drafts could also be the familiarity between the two teams, and they know which heroes the other team prefers, which may not necessarily be meta picks, which could, throw us off.
Klinks has Sight of Vice completed now.
Okay, so I think the Leshrac has to have his finger on that BKB. If he doesn't get that BKB off, he's going to be dead in a matter of seconds.
We see them smoking. As soon as they get the Sight of Vice, they're going for a kill.
Did Daya see that? It was fairly close to the wave, but the wave is in the river, so maybe not. That said,
Okay.
That might be a dead bloodseeker. Yes, that's a dead bloodseeker.
That's the bloodseeker. So they didn't say it. Okay. And they still have Aegis on the Klings, right? Okay, so that's a mid tower down, most likely. Just walk mid. Like Daya has kind of run out of steam a little bit. They were really
I don't see
playing
how
in a
they're going to
coordinated
kill
manner.
either the Klings or the PL on Radiant.
To Rupture, who's your Rupture priority? Even Earth Spirit is a decent Rupture target because that prevents him from going in and out of fights, which is something another hero that likes to do that.
Yeah, I think if you can't get it off on the Klings, no, even if you get it off on the Klings, he'll just stand there and fight you. So maybe the Earth Spirit is the best target.
Okay, yeah, even the PL can just man fight at this point. Oh, they have wrapped around DT2 and that's a dead lion and most likely a dead Underlord.
Tower is under dominating. Double
Yeah, at this point I think it's gonna be tough. To push them back, and now with those two deaths as well on top of the previous death, this might be a lane of racks that Aathal Gaming is going to lose.
Find this pattern of pausing straight after fights and saying lagging to be be turning up
Is
into
this
a pattern.
connecting?
Yes, he does disconnect.
There's no way we can doubt that there are technical issues.
Radiant has played these team fights so well. I think that's what kept them in the game in the early game. Daya couldn't really capitalize on any of those early kills and early network leads they had. So I think this game is pretty much sealed now.
I think even Klings, the matchup we thought would be much easier for Leshrac, but Klings played really well. Keep Leshrac off the tower.
Yeah, the lane would have been even, but I would have expected the Leshrac to get some damage on the tower and thereby get an early lead. There is a double damage in the bot river.
They have vision, Daya has vision, but I don't think Radiant sees that. Their body is actually a little bit lower than that. But yeah, I try to think the Klings with the DD what kind of damage he's gonna do. Probably just gonna get this tower.
I was practicing my
I'm still surprised that no one has gone shard. I'm just going through them to see if there were any shards that we would have imagined would have been a good pickup. I imagined PL has gone shard. Okay, so he does have that Spirit Lance because that's been one of the stronger shard pickups in this patch so far as well.
middle tower is under pressure. Dire's middle tower just got knocked down.
So they've already melted away on the T3 and they're already hitting on the immediate backs. That's gonna disappear. Klings does a lot of damage to buildings. And they back out immediately. So Klings is hanging around.
Snapfire buffing up.
But they want to try and
Klings
pick someone off.
a bit more with the Solar Crest as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
Solar Crest has been such an OP item.
The Leshrac in particular has been lacking armor. He does have that plate mail now, but then for some of those early engagements, I feel like if they had an early Solar Crest to throw on the Leshrac and just let him make some of those hits a little bit better, made a difference.
So Radiant loses Aegis and it times out, I mean. So they get back to farming. PA pushes out the bot lane.
Double damage.
So Daya now they're looking for an opportunity. They know that they've split up the farm. So this is
Bloodseeker does have a double damage.
Yeah, Bloodseeker has a double damage.
Up. They do have that double damage, but again,
not finding
Radiant, yeah, and they're kind of just hanging around between these two mid towers. I feel like they know. It's encouraging to see the games, interesting games like this at this point as well, because most people who have been watching the Sri Lankan scene at least know Death Sentence as one of the more known teams in the island. As I say that, they are going on the clockwork and he will go down. Oh,
okay, still alive
for a little bit. And for a moment there, I thought that I was going to be able to turn this around, but that's not the case. Lesh is just not doing any damage.
He's barely doing any damage. Everybody's sustaining through Leshrac's.
He doesn't get the TP out either.
He tried to TP out, but he gets caught by the Sand King as well.
Yeah, so I guess for PL at least that hard big part along with that hood, and he does have SMI as well on top of that, so he's really tanky. Killing him. The Clinks is at 3k health. That's with the ulti. Yeah, that's with the pact. Neither of these heroes are dying easily.
I would imagine
Of
with
course,
that fight,
the
the
team
game
wipe,
truly is
we
over. But
have next disconnect. These technical
How many
issues, I tell
post
you.
and does the Radiant side have?
where goes he?
How
How many post
many
and
pauses? I'm not sure.
I didn't count that much. Sorry.
I think this was the fourth
The
pause.
fourth?
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's the
think.
fourth pause. How many
Is
posts?
there
I
a
think the
rule
rule said
regarding the number of
three,
pauses?
right?
No, it's not
Uh,
time. It was about the time. There were 15
it's the time.
minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't think they've reached 50 minutes
Or
yet.
not
So.
yet.
They're not reached 15 minutes.
Anyone keeping time though? I don't think so.
I think we're
About 5
in
minutes.
that range yet. Minutes, yeah, about
Is it-
5 minutes. That makes sense.
Things is back.
They're
Followed by
back.
the
He
tip.
returns the tip. See Lesh laughing, so they must be having a laugh, at least on the Radiant side. I wonder what this game means for the rest of the tournament with Tenza picking that Lynx, playing it mid, and I think playing it well, really. He had a rough start, but now he's at the top of the net worth. He's looking pretty much unkillable at this point in the game. Might give future opponents an incentive to ban the hero against them.
Yeah, I think that will be something they'll always have at the back of their minds, or the captains when they're drafting. That even if he falls behind, he'll come back.
True. That said, Aathal Gaming has led through. AB is known for his Earth Spirit play, and then is obviously known for his Clinks. Granted, Clinks has not been a meta hero. I think sometimes you just need to ban heroes that people are asked here on.
The Bloodseeker does have buyback, so maybe in case the next fight goes bad, we might see a buyback coming in from the Bloodseeker as well as the Lion. So far, that the Radiant seem to be taking their time, taking one tower at a time.
Yeah, they don't need to rush it, and I think they're experienced enough not to overextend. Again, something that a lot of ACA players are prone to do.
Especially in this patch, it can be very punishing because the rubber band effect is very prevalent in this patch.
I think they're probably going to mate for Roshan. They know when it went down and they're circling around there, it's, I don't know, is that a minute to respawn, Shady?
It's 1 second. It may respawn in 1 second, so that's 1 minute, 50 seconds.
The additional minute.
So it's a very quick rush respawn. Can respawn in 8 minutes, 8 to 11, right?
I think that
So it's
Radiant would have
very
fared better. I think while we were saying that maybe they should have banned the Clinks, they actually dealt with it pretty well earlier on, at least until the 25-minute mark. I felt like it was more the Earth Spirit and maybe the supports and the team fights, how they went, that made it difficult for them. Maybe if they didn't pick this Bloodseeker and a different hero, they could have done better.
I think it was mostly the execution. The draft isn't that bad. They had a game plan, but they couldn't execute it that well. They had to get the towers early, make the map smaller for the PL, stopping from farming, and getting to this point. So I don't really blame Dire's draft, but with regard to the execution, they really couldn't win those team fights in the middle. They went for those smoke gangs into the triangle. They tried to push towers, but then they lost some of these team fights.
This, I mean, the game isn't over yet, though it's looking like it's going to go in the direction of Radiant. There is a lower bracket up. As I say that, Underlord did throw the Rotavators on the Snapfire, but gets kicked back immediately. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's not the end of the road for Aathal Gaming. There is a lower bracket. I think they still are one of the stronger teams in the tournament, actually being able to go toe-and-toe with that sentence, doing fairly well with their draft. So we should definitely see a lot more of them.
So Radiant bunching up top. I think they're going for the. I'm not sure whether they'll go high ground though. Maybe if they can get a pick off.
Rock it on.
So
They most
the
probably
illusion is being
probably
pinged out.
would
Okay.
most probably would be
Yeah.
rushing after this after clearing this wave. I guess
I think they're probably going to send
there
maybe
is a
PL
DD. There is a DD
scout?
in the river as well. So if
Okay.
they seem to
Then
be
they scout
rushing.
out rush.
Interesting to see if one of the supports take it, just so that Tenzo doesn't. No.
So even the PL leaving it for the Kings.
PL leaving it as well. No one's playing around.
Yeah, thankfully these supports are nothing like the ones we have in pubs.
I agree completely, Toby. Actually, no one takes it. Oh, so they're actually going to save it for after the rush fight. Okay.
I mean, they don't need the DD
Yeah.
for the rush.
This
They-
They
Guys,
hear
even
you.
contesting
They
it,
hear
yeah.
you, Raphael.
Yeah, courier there. Ah, okay, he's just taking an item. Okay. Because he cannot scout from Roshan with the couriers anymore. It's going to be looks like the Aegis. Who do they give the shard to? They give the shard to Kings as well. What does that do? Causes skeleton walk to create 2 burning arms. Oh, okay, so that's the previous eggs, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Or was that that was the level 10 talent, wasn't it?
It was a level
Is that
10 talent, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was a level
Yep.
10 talent. Axe
Level
has
10
always
talent.
been burning army. After 7.28.
Right, yes. Eggs is burning army, that's right. Okay.
Burning Arm used to be the ulti, right?
Alright,
After
that's right,
7.28,
they actually-
it was the Axe.
At one point, it was the ulti.
7.28, they
and then
changed
became
it
the
to Death Pact again. Ultimate being the Death Pact, and then the
That's the deadline.
Yeah, that's
he
so
has-
Lion has on this.
This. Yeah, that was a good hook shot. But
Okay, so
Kings
now
just
they've
stands his
been
ground.
baited into the tier 4s.
This is interesting. This
Kings
is
is
probably
there.
the opportunity that I needed. Tanking dies, buys back immediately. It would be a very different fight if not for that Aegis, but then obviously Death Sentence is not going to commit that far without the Aegis. Would like to imagine AP goes down as well. That's fits down. They still have a 45 up as well. Okay, they do hold. That's backing off for now. Can we
So
see
they're
how
fighting
much?
until the last minute.
It was a fun fight to watch. Klinks just YOLO'd it straight under the tier 4s.
And
Much of a
PL
goal
was-
screen though.
PL was hitting the top tower.
Okay, so there's always that one person on the team who prioritizes the objectives.
One person being me most of the time, but
Did they not
Which you can
expect
do as a support.
Aeon Disc on the Lion? Because every fight they've been prioritizing killing this Lion. So maybe
True.
when the Aeon Disc proc, they weren't ready for it.
The first saw the Onyx in the fight, probably yes. Oh, they found the.
might be a dead clockwork. This looks like a dead clockwork, yes.
Could it be a dead thing? BKB is pretty low at this point. Yep, he's out of BKB, but then they do not have vision. And they're
Trying to
fighting
challenge.
on the wards. This could be the game. It's dead. Lord as well.
Lord does have buyback.
Like we mentioned at the start of the game, usually against something like a Klinks, you can choose to go maybe a Ghost Scepter, but then with this significant magic damage coming up from behind, there's the Sanking, there's the Snapfire throwing up more time kisses, so challenging to build defensively against this.
Waves are breaking against Dire's top barracks.
For the twins.
Klink seems to be the bigger threat than PL at this point.
At this point, it's just the Klinks show.
Dire's top barracks are under
What would
attack.
his next item be? I might actually complete the Bloodthorn now. As dead, so probably not.
Just go into boots.
Flesh has his shard now, which means the Earth Splitter is significantly larger.
And it hits 3 times at the same location every
Oh,
every
yeah,
5
that's right.
seconds.
That could potentially be teamfight changing because of the low BKBs that they have. So Klinks is at 6 seconds. King is also at 6 seconds. On the dire side, Bloodseek is actually queuing up and repair. Interesting.
I think they've realized that this is the last Hail Mary pass.
All in on that divine to try and bap that damage, possibly take the Radiant side by surprise. Radiant, if they are going to be patient and probably do this the right way, they might just wait for the next Roshan. If they feel like they're strong enough to siege high ground now. PL has interestingly not gone as Skadi. Is that not a PL item anymore?
No, I think they needed the Nullifier because they've got 2 Aeon discs on the Dire team. So they really needed that Nullifier.
That makes sense. The other item that I'm surprised not to see is Butterfly because of the nerfs
I'll
to
take your tribute.
Divine Rapier, and I think even MKB is not the best item right now. You don't really want to build it unless you have to. Klinks is hitting for a lot of damage right now. You probably
Klinks-
just BKB, stand and hit the towers.
The Klink skeletons attack buildings? No, they don't, do they?
Such
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. Yeah, probably not.
No, I don't think they attack buildings.
They'll be able to see here.
So Klinks is just running up here. I think at the same time
They don't.
Dire are going on the PL down bot,
Dyer's top barracks have
committing
fallen.
everything onto him, and they might actually take him down.
PL goes down.
Does go down, but at the cost of their top racks.
Racks.
Do it with flair.
I'd be happy to trade the PL for the racks.
I think Radiant are fine with that, to be honest. Because even from a Dire perspective, PL wasn't the biggest threat on the map. Still the Klinks. You can see the Solar Crest being spammed on the Klinks whenever the supports are near him.
Dyer's bottom
His
tower
Clock got around
won't
finishing
last
his. Nope,
long.
he's going for Shard.
Boom, there it goes.
That's the jetpack, right?
Yeah, that's the jetpack.
Earthspade going Vlad's, probably for the bonus damage more than the lifesteal, right about now.
Yeah,
Was-
that really helps the PL as well as the Kings.
Sanking has actually gone pipe. I did notice that. So, they have.
Sand King
looked
has
at
had
mitigating
pipe
the
for a
damage.
while. Sand King has had pipe for a while. I think he went Arcane Blink the latest.
And that would explain why the Lesh wasn't doing as much damage. They found the Klinks, but no, that he does turn BKB on. So the Sanking stun misses. Oh,
Nice.
oh, that's a knight shot. Find the Klinks here. He doesn't have a Satanic. Gets a Lotus Orb, and whoa, okay, they got the Klinks, and technical issues. Technical issues.
This seems very fishy.
I don't think so. That's not the technical issue.
But he disconnected.
Yes. We have proof.
Lion was waiting 50 minutes for this.
Oh yeah, every single time Klinks kill the lion, they
Very
pause.
convenient technical issue. What's the buyback situation? Okay, they do have buyback, so
They do have
it's
buyback.
on the Klink. Sanking doesn't, but then PL's respawning, so it's a glimmer of hope for Radiant.
The Divine
Rosh.
Rapier on Bloodseeker seems to be
He has
what's
it,
winning the
okay.
fights. Yeah, what seems and the gem. So in case Klinks tries to pick off Bloodseeker, he'll see it coming at least.
See what they do with this. Radiant does have the glyph. They may not be able to do a lot with it. Might lag more. Okay. So again, with playing in SCA, you're able to predict as well when you're going to lag sooner rather than later.
Even we've seen it a lot, right? You win fights and then it starts to lag, so you pause.
Of course, the team
It's a
fight, the
common. It's
ultimate.
a very common occurrence.
Still
So
waiting.
it's natural.
I think the Sand King being dead with no buyback is going to be a huge problem for the Radiant because he has been that counter initiation that stops Dire going in.
Wow, it's getting
Okay.
spicy
Double kill.
again.
So the Lions Aeon is does proc.
I wish we had chat lines to spam to show what it's
No,
like.
no, we can't.
Reach
And
Well,
out.
Lion
Lions
is
is
slowly
inside.
getting into an Ags.
We'll be back in 10
I have a lot
seconds
of
or
finger
1
depth
minute and
kills,
10
though.
seconds.
Radiant are
So
scanning for enemies.
PL is back. Won't be seeing the clinks for
Rosh will be
over
back
a
in 10
minute.
seconds.
Boom, there it goes.
10 seconds or a minute? 10 seconds.
10
Okay.
seconds. Yeah.
I think Dire
Might-
should at least force out the PL buyback. We don't know that Sand King doesn't have buyback, but they should force at least one buyback out.
It should surprisingly the Lesh. Maybe he's waiting the 10 seconds to TP over with the travels. But he's showing in lane, so Radiant know he's not there. They are not going to. They do 45.
I
That's
don't
another
think we
window
can
of
take
opportunity.
fights without the Sand King.
The net worth lead for Radiant was at 1.31k. It's come down to 24 now, so
Radiant's middle
Might
tower
be
has
seeing-
fallen.
bit of a comeback.
Dive to the impurities.
Okay, so Klink's holding on to his buyback still. I don't think he's going to.
It's interesting because they committed the glyph. Ah, okay, it's because they have the snap.
Set in stone.
Incoming.
Okay, Dire decides back out. They know the
think
Klinks
that's
is
a-
going to be up.
It's a smart thing to do. That said, they're backing out all the way to base, and Roshan is up with that Aghanim Scepter.
They didn't have anywhere else to back off to. The only place would have been bot. So all the creep is at base.
Sure,
No, I
they
mean,
do
they
have
could
the
have,
outpost.
gone here and taken the high ground.
They did have the outpost.
This may have been a genuine disconnect. Think we should really start tracking the time.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a very quick reconnect. Spirit has a BKB. Did he have that last fight? He said 7 seconds. He's heading for a couple of fights at least. Clinks are there. We haven't really spoken a lot about the neutral items. It has that spider legs, a very annoying item to play against.
PL has the
Sanking has-
perfect neutral item.
What does he have? I didn't see. Oh, he has illusion
Yes,
escape.
illusions,
Okay.
yeah.
And Lesh gets a time Berserk though, so that will amp up his damage. That said, this is going to be tough. They're playing into a Clinks who is going to have Aegis, PL who's probably going to have Cheese. Who are they going to give the scepter to?
Roche has eggs. I guess so. Klinks gets
Running army up?
eggs, I guess. Yeah.
All in on the Clinks.
I do think it was a
This
missed opportunity
point-
for Dire. They could have rushed before trying to push that high ground.
I think as well, instead of going for that high ground push, if they had gone for the rush, the thing is they scouted it out before that, and I think they assumed it would be a later spawn.
It's just 10 seconds before, so it was quite unfortunate, I guess.
And that shows the significance of that change where you cannot keep a courier to scout. That said, again, Clock does have Rocket Flare.
Exactly.
I was just about to say.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop making
Do it with
excuses.
flair.
Maybe they're feeling the pressure, who knows.
So basically, at this point, every fight lost will basically be the last fight for Dire. Need to win every fight going from here.
Bloodseed
And a
Promise
chance.
is Satanic.
Earth Spirit has Octane Core and Cheese.
And I
Yes,
don't
that's
think he's gonna
ridiculous.
save for buyback. If he loses that Divine Rapier, his damage is gone. So he's probably gonna go all in with the Satanic.
Yeah, but he needs to get his courier out to the secret
Needs
shop.
to get his courier out.
Someone's connection
That's a disconnect
just drowned.
again on Radiant's side.
Wow.
think we're at about 7.5, 8 minutes of disconnects.
I would say so. This is the sixth pause.
Shall we talk about our sponsors until the game resumes?
Yeah.
So for those of you who were not there during the draft, to just quickly mention that this tournament would not be possible without the sponsors. MyCity.lk, Bitcoin, and Crypto Locally are the ones who come together to really give us a tournament in Sri Lanka. And it's rare to see, a sizable prize pool. This is one of the bigger prize pools that we've seen over the years, and that has really given a lot of these players an incentive to show up. In this game itself, we're seeing a couple of really good teams in the island going toe and toe against each other, and then we have a couple of other teams as well that we'll be seeing. None of this would be possible without the sponsors. Dire are committing. I think this might Radiant rather are committing to the bot tower. This might catch Dire off guard, but no. They're fighting back. That's Klinks dropping to half health. But he's standing and fighting. The Earth Spirit rolls in, gets instantly hexed, and they're gonna chain on him, yeah. Rather tanky. He has that cheese, doesn't commit it, rolls out with the BKB, and they catch the clockwork. The other side. Snapfire had not committed Drowsy all that time, so now it's just gonna rain. Earthspirit goes down, rolls back in. That's the Leshak going down as well.
I think that should be the game.
Let's have
Atsika is still
buyback.
They're wrecking
Nice.
Dire's bottom barracks.
They do have buyback.
On buys back, and he's keeping in. This could be risky. No, he catches the Sanking. Photosorb gets reflected. The Klinks is just going to town on the Seeker. Divine Rapier is on the floor.
Dire's
Don't
middle
pick it
tower
up. Klinks picks it up. That's game over.
This might be GG. This GG.
We see OG-esque PL
Not
found
calling.
diving. I guess they're not in that vein.
Seem to be hating the land, which is understandable.
Lots of tips on the land, yeah. A lot of hate towards the land. That's normal as well. Think it was the Lion, right, who caught out the Klinks a lot of those early engagements.
Man, I think the Lion is their captain, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is that the case? Okay.
Yeah, so.
They're not done. They're coming back in. Who is Rupch out on? I didn't see who he cast it on.
Is I think I can predict
But he's
a
just running around.
play that's coming up. Yeah. Snapfire seems to be walking around menacingly. He has something on his mind.
Does he have X? Does he have X? Yes, he
just
does.
got it. He just got it. He might be
Lion
looking for
Lion
a
is
throw
alive.
play.
Lion's on this fell as well.
Might just be looking for a throw play. I would be.
Types back. That was the D. I don't think they want it to end yet. He doesn't. Boring. He just
That
throws
was
the Sanking.
disappointing.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. Very anticlimactic. Oh, they made fun of Klinks?
He does have
Yeah,
a
just though, so this is only gonna be had he used Death back? No, he hadn't. So his HP is low. So even when he comes back, but they're gonna ignore him. They're gonna go for the rest of the team. Tanking dies.
Klinks is still hanging around.
Still there.
Oh no, my god.
TM
Oh,
is
Klinks is going back at this point.
okay, he's switching on.
Oh, that's a dead.
Meanwhile, the creeps are
Seek as
taking
well, and then
down the
that's a
ancients,
dead.
so, yeah.
That's game.
Quite an intense
7-8
game.
game.
7-minute game. Was it the longest so far?
Took
Definitely
longer than I
longest.
expected.
So now the tournament is starting to heat up.
Scargop and the Shady for thank you for the casting today.
Thanks, Ghosty, too, for hanging around.
Let's go see.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us.
For the cast out
For
today.
having us.